What's up guys, my name's Tyler. Welcome to another edition of the Lawn Review. Today we've got two of the best selling electric pressure washers on the market. The Sunjoe SPX 3000 and the rock&rocker Von 3.2. Today we're going to compare and contrast both these pressure washers on things like user experience, advertised PSI, GPM, and CU, and warranty and price. And then we're going to put their advertised claims to the test and really figure out which one of these pressure washers is the right one for you. So stick around and let's check it out. Guys, if you are already a subscriber, again, thank you so much. We are honestly learning a lot from you guys in the comment section, things that we didn't even think about covering. You're helping us out and throwing them in the comment section. Same goes for this video. If there's anything throughout this video that we didn't cover that you wish we had covered, just throw it in that comment section. We would really appreciate it. But if you're not a subscriber and you want to learn a little bit more about lawn care, plant care, and the right tools for the job, and perhaps be mildly entertained in the process, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But if you want to become part of the TLR tribe, we're building a lot of cool things in the background, like guides and potentially even some cool products. Make sure you join our email list. That's going to be in the description of this video as well. We're going to send you an invite to our private Facebook community where we're going to be bouncing prototypes off you guys, getting good feedback on content that we're putting out, guides, and like I said, products. So make sure you join our email list as well. So in terms of user experience in these two pressure washers, a lot of things are going to be very similar between these two models, like how they feel, the overall construction, how it feels to use, things like that. A lot of these are going to be exactly the same. Both these pressure washers are turned on these front switches up here. Just turn it on like that when you're ready to use it. Both pressure washers come with 4 standard tips ranging from 0, 15, 25, 40 degrees. Same on the Sunjoe SPX. The Sunjoe SPX does have a different nozzle tip that we're going to talk about later, but when you're using these standard without detergent, they're the exact same. They're both pretty mobile as well, with 2 different wheels on the back, enabling you to pitch back the pressure washer and move it around as needed throughout your job. So both the rock&rocker and the Sunjoe SPX have the same exact cord setup, both enabling you to reset and test right on the cord itself. Really nice feature. And you add and change nozzle tips the same exact way, just pulling down the collar and sliding it up on both these models. So both of these pressure washers, the rock&rocker and Sunjoe, utilize the TSS or total system stop technology. Basically what that means is when you pull the trigger, the motor's going to kick on. But when you let off that trigger, the motor's going to turn off. Now, that helps conserve energy, but it also helps make sure the motor on these things is going to last as long as possible. But also it's really convenient and nice when somebody comes up to you and they want to have a conversation with you in the middle of your job, and you don't have to cut this thing off and cut it back on. It does it itself. All right guys, so now that we've talked about these two pressure washers and how they're similar in terms of user experience, now let's get into how they're different. So right off the bat, the Sunjoe has 2 detergent tanks that allow you to use different types of detergent at the same time. Like maybe you want to use bleach in one and a cleaning agent of some sort in the other. You just turn this nozzle left and right to control which location the detergent is coming out of, or the cleaning product, and right in the middle is going to be off. Whereas the rock&rocker basically makes you change out the tip of the spray wand itself and add this cleaning tub, or whatever you want to call it. And you're really only able to use one type of cleaning product at one time. These pressure washers also vary in terms of weight. This is just going to be a shade under 28 pounds, and the rock&rocker is going to be at about 21 pounds. So yeah, just a little bit heavier with this Sunjoe. Another key difference between these two pressure washers in terms of user experience is going to be storability. Again, this one's going to be a whole lot more compact and light. It also has this wind up feature that allows you to wind up the hose for the wand. The Sunjoe is going to be a little bit bulkier, a little bit bigger, and honestly, winding up or storing the cords from this one is kind of a pain. So both the Sunjoe and rock&rocker have a 35-foot power cord. And the Sunjoe has a 20-foot spray hose, while the rock&rocker has a 26-foot spray hose, so 6 feet longer with the rock&rocker. So another differentiating thing in the user experience category of these two pressure washers is when you go to connect this to the spray wand. The Sunjoe is going to be similar to how you attach it to the Sunjoe pressure washer, where you put it on a threaded tip right here, and then you just, twist it on like that. Well, it's not getting on there. There we go. And when you attach the rock&rocker, I've actually never seen this before. You attach it kind of similarly to how you would the spray tip nozzle, except you have to press down this green button and slide it in, and then let go, and it is kind of a little wonky, but you have to cram it in there, and then, okay, now it's locked in. It's not coming out. And then this wand tip as well, it's already on, but you have to, when you put it on, you have to pull this forward, this kind of like a shotgun sort of mechanism. You slide it forward actually, and then you cram this in here and twist it and then let go, and now it's locked in. And then if you want to put the spray tip or the detergent tip on it, you got to take that off obviously and do the same thing. Put it on here and then twist it in. It's a little bit strange. Twist it in, and then now it's locked in and you can spray detergent. But that's just a little differentiating thing between those two. Honestly, I obviously prefer the Sunjoe because you don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is turn this nozzle if you want to use the detergent. All right, guys, so now that we've talked about how these two units differ in terms of user experience, how they compare and contrast there, now let's talk about their cleaning ability. And that's measured by PSI, GPM, and a combination of those two measurements, which is cleaning units, or CU. Now you can think about PSI as like the stripping ability of a pressure washer, like how hard the water is coming out of the pressure washer itself, like pounds per square inch. And GPM is kind of like the pushing power of a pressure washer, how much water is moving through that pressure washer, or gallons per minute. And the two of those measurements are weighted in a measurement called cleaning units, or CO. Basically, you just take those two measurements and multiply them together, and that's a really cool way to compare two pressure washers if you got two head-to-head like this, and see which one is more powerful. But both of these pressure washers make some pretty hilarious claims, honestly, in their advertising for what their GPM and PSI are. And I'm actually gonna have to read them off because there's a lot of numbers and I don't have that great of a memory. But the Sunjoe has a max PSI of 2030 with a GPM of 1.76, and that gives you cleaning units of 3,572. And this rock&rocker, which really, I actually laughed out loud when I saw it, it said it has a max PSI of 3,500, so about 1,500 more PSI, or pounds per square inch, than the Sunjoe, and then a max PSI of 2.6. So that would give it a cleaning units of 9,100, whereas the cleaning units for this Sunjoe max are again 3,500. So you're talking about triple the cleaning power here than here. Basically, you could throw that out the window. They gave another measurement, which was their rated PSI and GPM. I don't even know why they bother saying their max. Maybe it's an advertising campaign or something on there, and I don't know. But their rated PSI is 2,150, and their rated GPM is 1.85, giving that a rated cleaning unit of 3,977. Again, considerably more than the Sunjoe, but both those claims, even the rated claims on both these, are honestly a little hard to believe on my part. So a little bit later on, we're going to put these actually to the test. I've got a PSI gauge, and I'm going to measure the GPMs of both and really see how these two compare against each other. All right, so the price of these two units, the rock&rocker and Sunjoe, are priced very similarly. You can get this one for 169 bucks on Amazon, and the rock&rocker is going to be $179 on Amazon. This is going to come with a 2-year warranty, whereas this comes with a 1-year warranty. So $10 cheaper in a 2-year warranty versus $10 more expensive in a 1-year less warranty. That's going to make this comparison really fun when we test the GPMs and PSI of both these units, because $10 isn't a huge needle mover, so you're really going to be able to decide which one of these is best just strictly on how they perform, which one you should buy. I'm going to use the Sunjoe SPX 3000 on the first 2 stairs, and then the rock&rocker on the last 2 stairs, and see how they compare. 15-degree nozzle tip on both. All right, guys, so now that we've talked about the user experience, advertised GPM, PSI, and CU, and then talked about the warranty and price on both these machines, now we're gonna put those advertised claims to the test. First up is this Sunjoe SPX 3000. We're gonna do the GPM test. We're gonna fill up this 5-gallon Lowe's bucket, count how many seconds it takes to fill this bucket up, divide that by 5, and multiply that by 60, and that's gonna give us the GPM of this machine. And we're testing it without any nozzle tip because that's what they advertised. All right, guys, so it took about 170 seconds for this SPX 3000 to fill up this 5-gallon bucket. So 5 divided by 170 times 60 equals about 1.76 GPM, which is about right at advertised. All right, so next up is the rock&rocker. Same exact test, just gonna fill up this 5-gallon bucket with no nozzle tip and find out the true GPM. Okay, so the rock&rocker actually filled up this bucket about 1 second quicker, but again, I think it was advertised at what? 2.6 GPM or 1.85 rated GPM. So it's gonna be actually about 1.76, so a little bit less than advertised, but right on line with the Sunjoe SPX. All right, so next up is the PSI test. This rock&rocker had some really weird fittings, so I was only able to jerry rig it straight out of the port right here. But again, we're gonna turn it up, see what the PSI reads on this pressure washer. Again, it was rated at 2150 PSI. They set it at a max PSI of 3,500. I'm gonna crank it on and see what it does. Yep, not even hitting 1,000. I don't know how they get these numbers. All right, so next up is the Sunjo SPX 3000. Again, they're advertising 2030 PSI, but we will see. So that one got up a little bit over 1,000. I'm gonna say 1,100 or so PSI, but nothing even close to advertised there as well. All right, guys, so just a quick recap on these two pressure washers. Again, the rock&rocker is gonna be about $10 more than the Sunjo, but as you could see in some of our tests, the Sunjo actually performed a little bit better on the PSI test than the rock&rocker. I mean, the rock&rocker's advertising was pretty far off from reality. But what I really liked about the rock&rocker is that it stores super well. I like the wind up on top. The Sunjo is a little bit clumsy, a little bit bigger, takes up a little bit more square footage in your garage or storage unit or wherever you're keeping this thing. So keep that in mind. It's also a little bit heavier. So if you've just got a few jobs throughout the year, pretty light jobs, I think you'd be fine with the rock&rocker. But the Sunjo, again, is about $10 less and actually performed a little bit better on my stress tests and some of the PSI readings and things like that. So keep that in mind as well. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit more of a clumsy mess than the rock&rocker, but you know, both have their pros and cons. But if I'm making that decision, honestly, I'm probably going with the Sunjo because I value performance over storability and the ability to move it easily. At this point in my life, the 5 pounds difference isn't that big of a deal for me, so I'm going with the Sunjo. Guys, thanks so much for checking out this week's video. Again, if you're already a subscriber, thank you. If you're not and you want to learn a little bit more about lawn care, plant care, and the right tools for the job, hit that subscribe button as well. Until next time, keep cutting. We'll see y'all again.